A 5-minute video on YouTube may seem casual or even insignificant, but the time and effort spent by creators to create that content can be quite substantial. In part 2 of this series, I share with you my workflow and the efforts I put into creating a video for YouTube.
Hey guys, what's up? My name is Bernard and welcome to the channel. So this video is actually a series where I'm filming my life as a videographer and a YouTuber with a very small following to share with you what my life is like and what my routine is. So this is actually part 2. For part 1 last week, I managed to get the opportunity to film and dive at RWSC Aquarium. So that was pretty interesting. Do check that video out. The link will be here. And yes, let's start this week. To kickstart the week, I'm here at Pasir Ris Park to test out my new Sigma 100-400 Sony E-mount lens, and I'm planning to make a review video about this. I'm primarily going to use this lens for landscape and wildlife photography/videography, so stay tuned for that video. In the meantime, here are some sample images and my first impressions. This lens is very light for its focal range, which makes hand holding very easy. The image quality of this lens is not great, but it's still decent. It should be good enough for most users. The focal range 100-400 is very versatile for both landscape and wildlife photography. For the second part of today, I'll spend the rest of my available time editing part 1 of this series and probably work on the pile of laundry behind me. It is day 11 and I had a shoot scheduled today, but it got cancelled due to this COVID situation. It is what it is, so I'm going to just focus my time on editing part 1 of this series, and I aim to complete it by today. Speaking of cancellations, I would highly recommend that every freelancer creates his or her own project agreement to sign with your client. It will really save you in situations like this. When I first started out, this contract was only 1 page long and now it has multiple pages. This is something you will learn along the way, and I would highly recommend that you create something like this. I managed to finish editing the video today as planned, but not all the work is done. I'll end off the video here today, and tomorrow I'll continue sharing what else needs to be done before a YouTube video is considered complete. Day 12, and like I shared yesterday, although the video edit is done, the job is not complete. There are 2 more things that need to be done. 1 is the editing of the thumbnail, and 2 is the input of the metadata. So these 2 things are very important because no matter how good your video is, if your thumbnail is not good and enticing, people would not click on your video. And 2, the metadata is important because it will help YouTube promote your video better and allows people to search for your videos. So these 2 things are arguably more important than your actual video itself. So thumbnails has always been a challenge for me to make because I'm a videographer first and photographer second. But now that I'm done, it's time to upload the video. For the second part of today, I'll be planning my next YouTube video. I usually do so on my phone, where I write out the entire script in my notes. I can even indicate which is a talking head, which will be a voiceover, and a B-roll I need to take. I can even check it off when I'm done. I'm not sure whether it's considered fast or slow, but it usually takes me about 4 to 5 hours for me to plan a video. Now that I'm done, I'm going to pack my bags for tomorrow, where I'll shoot the sample footage for this video. It's 8 AM in the morning and I'm out with my dog to shoot the sample footage that I need. I usually refer to the shortlist on my phone to ensure that I do not miss out on anything that I need. Now that took a total of about 1.5 hours. It's considered fairly short because the things that I needed were fairly simple and straightforward. Now what I have to do is put them into the editing suite and compare them side by side and use my findings and adjust the script accordingly. Hi guys, it's a brand new day. I'm pretty sure my entry yesterday ended pretty abruptly because after editing, I pretty much lost all motivation to do anything else. It's not like the edit was very time consuming or required a lot of effort. It's just that I was very distracted and I kept procrastinating, which is why it took me so much time. I actually have a love-hate relationship with making such videos. On one hand, it can get boring at times. On the other hand, I really love getting new gear and testing them out. And it's the only way I can justify buying new gear all the time, which is why I'm constantly making such videos. For this morning, I'm taking out the Sigma 100-400 for more testing, which is another video I'm working on. The reason why I'm taking longer to accumulate the sample images for this lens is because my subject is wildlife, which is more unpredictable and everything is out of my control. so I'm predicting this video will take much longer to complete. Originally, the plan was to film the talking head or the B-roll segment for the 20mm video. However, I'm not really feeling like it today because it requires quite a bit of setup and I don't want to do anything physical for the rest of the day. So instead, I'll be planning my next few videos and editing the photos I captured over the past few days. After a whole day of editing in front of the computer, it's time to end it off with some exercise. So what will we be doing?
Recycling down Changi Beach.
What's the goal for today?
30 click.
So we're gonna aim to do 30 click. Another thing I forgot to mention is I brought another lens out to test. So this time is the Sigma 85 f1.4 and I had to stop for this sunset. So let's get some shots.
Hello! So Bernard brought me to the beach, but he didn't tell me that he wanted to take a thumbnail for his YouTube video. So my hair is ugly and I didn't put on any makeup.
So during our pit stop, I managed to take some photos for the 20mm thumbnail. So yes, this trip has been productive already. It's starting to get dark and it was a hindrance to cycle with the camera strapped to my chest, so I'm just gonna end the vlog here. See you guys tomorrow. Good morning guys, it's a new day. I kind of lost track of what day today is, but it's 6:30 AM in the morning and I hope you guys are not sick of me saying this, but once again, I'm out for another shoot. Then again, you guys are watching a video titled Day in the Life of a Videographer, so what are you expecting, right? But today's shoot is much more interesting and intense in my opinion. I'm actually here at Clementi Forest to shoot some sunrise B-roll for an upcoming documentary of mine. It's been months in the making, so I'm really excited to complete it. Fingers crossed we get some nice shots today. But then again, the weather doesn't look too good. It was drizzling when I was on the way here. I'm mentally prepared for nothing to happen today. If so, it'll be a wasted trip all the way from Tampines. But that's how it is. Sometimes Mother Nature rewards you, and sometimes she just plays a prank on you. So I just set up my slider for a time lapse. I'm not expecting anything really good today because the weather is really gloomy. This is more of a test shot, so the next time I come back here, I know exactly where to go and what to shoot. And that will save me a lot of time because in the mornings when you're rushing for a golden hour, every minute counts and I can sleep in a little more. So while waiting for my time lapse to complete, I'm just going to send my drone up in the air for another aerial recce. I've actually flew my drone here before and got better shots back then, but I have nothing else to do, so why not?
In muddy and wet conditions, I usually catch my drone in the air.
Another successful flight. So after 40 minutes, I've decided to pack up and go. Originally, I was planning to head over to the Green Corridor as well to get some shots, but the way the weather is, I'm not going to get anything good today, so I'm just going to save my efforts for another time. Now that I'm home, it's time to film something I've been procrastinating about for quite some time. I have to film the talking head for the review video I've been working on all week. The reason why I've been procrastinating so much is because it's such a pain to set up the equipment I need for me to film my talking head. This is why it's so important to have a very efficient workflow so you'll feel motivated to film all the time. For me, I have no choice because the space I have to film in is very small, so I have to tear down and set up my equipment each time I want to shoot something. If you're curious to what equipment I use and how I set it up to film my talking head, check out this video. Some of the equipment has since changed, but it pretty much has stayed the same. So now, I'm going to share with you my workflow for filming these talking heads. Firstly, I have my script prepared on my phone near me. Secondly, I check whether it indicates if it's a voiceover or a talking head. If it's a voiceover, it will be simpler. All I do is just face this camera and just read the lines directly off my phone. So for example, if you're in the market looking for a wide angle lens, chances are that you will consider the popular... Okay, so if I screw up, which happens very often, I will just reread the lines. If you're in the market looking for a wide-angle lens, chances are that you will consider the popular focal range 16 to 35. More often than not, I will do a second take for safety, so here it is. If you're in the market looking for a wide-angle lens, chances are that you will consider the popular focal range 16 to 35.
So if I know I got a good take, I will end the clip there. I'll share a few why in the editing segment later. Next up is a line where I filmed the talking head. So I will just start the record on this camera again.
I'll do a clap to sync the audio later. So what I'll do next is I'll memorize my lines, and I usually keep them short so it makes it easier for me. So for example, to be honest, I would too. Oh, I forgot my lines. It's a short and simple line, but I still forget it. It happens all the time. To be honest, I would too. Let's try it. This will be a good take. To be honest, I would too. In fact, I currently own one and I don't plan to sell it even after getting the Sony f2.8. So close. Let's try again. To be honest, I would too. In fact, I own one and I don't plan to sell it even after getting the Sony 20mm f1.8. So that was a good take. And I'm going to try it again. Like I said, I'll take a second one for safety. To be honest, I would too. In fact, I currently own one and I don't plan to sell it even after getting the Sony 20mm f1.8.
So now that I know that was a good take, I will cut it, and once again, like I said, I'll share with you why in the editing segment later. So this is more or less how I film my talking head videos. Some of you might be thinking at this point, why do I not use a teleprompter to film these talking head segments? For me, I don't use a teleprompter for two main reasons. So the first one is because I don't want to spend additional money at the moment to buy a teleprompter. But the more important reason is because I want to practice being able to memorize my lines and say them comfortably in front of the camera. I don't want to be too dependent on reading lines off the teleprompter, because when I'm out shooting, I do not always have access to a teleprompter, so I just want to practice more. So that's the reason why. There's two reasons why. Now that I've completed filming the talking head, the next obvious thing to do will be to import your clips into Premiere Pro. And now I'm also going to share with you why I told you to end off each clip right after a good take. For me, I know it's going to take me multiple tries before I get a good take. So to save time in editing, I just go to the end of each clip and I know that my good take is there.
Honest, I would too. In fact, I currently own one and I don't plan to sell it even after getting the Sony 20mm f1.8.
Today has definitely been very productive. So although it's still very early in the day, I'm going to end the video here and continue this tomorrow. Day 16. Time to wrap up this video by shooting the final segment I need, which is the B-roll that I'll be using in my product review videos. Just like my talking head segment, I usually have to set up quite a bit of equipment just to shoot this, which is why I usually procrastinate shooting this as well. And to maximize my efforts, I usually try to shoot the B-roll for a few videos at one go. I am shooting on a dining table in the living room because this is the only space big enough in the house to accommodate all my equipment. As my dining table and the wall do not match, I use a white backdrop to give my products a nicer and cleaner background. I just tape it to the wall with masking tape. It's not pretty, but it gets the job done. The two main pieces of equipment that I use for my product shots are the slider and the turntable. These are simple tools that allow you to take your product B-roll to the next level. Here are some sample shots. This video is an insight to how much effort I put in to create a simple video for YouTube. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it useful. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you did. That's it for today. It's a wrap!